I'm going to talk today about the power of the moon, right? And the moon, like, really doesn't get its run, right? We really don't be giving the moon its run. Like, I was just watching, House of the Dragons, like yesterday, just watched the last episode yesterday. And Helena was like, I need to see the moon, right? She was like, I need to see the moon. Like, Mom, I need to get out here into this moon. And her mom was like, yeah, the window's going to have to do, right? And it doesn't. Like, that's the whole thing. You're a really mean mom at this point. If you're not understanding that needing to see the moon, man, that's a physical thing. You need the moon. The moon is a very, very powerful part of our natural world. The moon isn't just up there. Like, I know they have all these crazy theories about how the moon, was another planet or some collided, whatever they be saying about the moon, as if somehow the moon is an accident. Like, the moon ain't no accident, man. The moon's supposed to be here. We're just as part. The moon is like, the sun is actually our creator, right? Like, we say the sun is like, that's the life source, right? That's the main, like, source of life for everybody is the sun, right? But the moon's right there. The moon's like your aunt, right? Like, when the sun's not around, the moon takes care of you. Like, okay, hey, I need to get some rest, man. These goddamn kids on the earth is getting on my nerves, right? The moon's like, okay, yeah, don't worry, I'll watch them, and she still gives you like a lot of power. It's like a lot of power to the moon. So the moon is as much a part of us and us a part of it, right, as anything else. We're all part of this natural system. So our moon is special, man. The moon isn't just up there. It's not, it's like we've been disrespecting the moon, man. And I don't think they landed on the moon because the moon ain't just some dead rock. Like, that's crazy. The moon glows with life. Like, what do you guys think? What are you guys really thinking about, man? Do you guys think about the mythology of the moon, or do you guys just be like, it's a rock up in the sky and it just glows like that because it's reflecting the sun? Because that's crazy unto itself, and it's disrespectful that you went up there and landed on the moon, man. I hope look, I was just about to say something crazy, and I'm not gonna say something crazy because YouTube police is always watching. But I'm just being mad real with you guys right now. It's disrespectful that you even put your probe on the moon, man. It's disrespectful that you allowed your dirty feet to step onto the moon, man. It's disrespectful that you brought your bodily funk and odor onto a divine thing. Like, this is a divine thing. I don't even know why we would allow somebody to go up there and for you to put your flag on the moon, which I don't think you really did anyway, but just the idea of the nonsensory that goes along into your arrogance to do such a thing, to believe that you landed on the moon. That is a divine thing, man. Like, that's the number two, right? And it was like, it was like the Lakers, and it was like, yeah, we had Kobe and Powell. Like, it was Powell, right? Like Powell didn't give us life, but Powell was always there, and we needed him, right? We needed our number two, right? And the better our number two was, right? Like, that's where we shine, right? Hello, Elsa, right? So we need the moon, and the moon should be seen with such reverence. The moon is known throughout mythologies all over the world, right? And there's a whole like group of powers associated with the moons, right? And I'm going to go through some of these before we even talk about the deeds, before we even talk about why the moon, before we get like, what is the moon done, before we talk about who loves the moon, who reps the moon, who's like got the moon on their jersey and is holding it down for the moon. Let's talk about all the stuff that encapsulates the moon. Right? The moon ain't no little minor deity, man. You'll be writing the moon off like that. The moon is all about cycles, phases, and the very measurement of time, right? The sun ain't got time for this stuff, right? The moon is about tides and water and natural rhythms. Again, sun ain't got time for that either. It's about fertility, menstruation. The sun don't want to touch that at all, right? Okay, Ra does not want to touch that, okay? It's about childbirth. The moon is about dreams, intuition. Think about it, man. When Ra goes into the underworld, he can't be part of your dreams, too. I'm down here fighting a whole battle in the underworld. I got time for you. That's when you look up to the moon. The moon's there to guide you. The moon is all about, like, dreams, intuition, prophecy. Ra is like, don't ask me about stuff like that. You go out and ask the sun right now. Go out and close your eyes in the sun right now when it's at its power and try to meditate and ask it some questions about prophecy and see if you don't burn your ass up, right? You ask the moon about that stuff. That's the importance of the moon. The moon's there to hold everything together. The moon's a number two man on the team. The moon is like the vice president and stuff, right? Like, yeah, they get all the, like, the sun's like, I got the big stuff. I got the big stuff I got to do. Okay, you got to take care of everything else, and that's a lot of stuff, right? The moon also regulates transformation, especially shape-shifting. Yeah, this matters if you're a freaking werewolf, right? We tell all these stories about the moon's power, but you guys act like the moon's just something. I'm just gonna fly on over here and land on the moon, put my feet all on the moon, and leave trash on the moon, and put a flag on the moon. Like, that's the thing you do, right? Like, where that comes from, I have no idea. But the moon is also about madness. Like, we don't talk about that a lot, but the moon be driving people crazy. We try not to talk about it so that people won't be like, yeah, self-fulfilling prophecy. But when the full moon comes out, I go in the house, right? Like, not just for werewolves, for everybody. I'm going in the house. If I was a werewolf, I wouldn't even hunt when the full moon's out, because everybody that you hunting, anybody who's outside at night with a full moon cracking, yeah, they ready for it too, werewolf. Like, if I'm outside on a full moon, I'm crazy too. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you getting the craziest people who are outside in the full moon. So yeah, werewolf, you a werewolf, I'm a were-person, right? I'm a were-crip, right? So you better stay your ass in the house, werewolfy. You don't want no parts of this. It's a full moon. Everybody out on the full moon is nuts. That's the moon just like, yeah, I'm doing it. Like, if you guys don't understand, that's the power of the moon. It's the tides, it's your breath, like all this stuff. The moon is also associated with death, right? Disappearance and return, obviously associated with night travel, protection, and hidden knowledge. Like, we know the moon's got all kinds of knowledge because the moon's the only one sitting down taking notes. Like, while Ra's doing everything and like you guys are doing everything, the moon's like, yeah, right? But yeah, I got that. It logs everything. It logs the minutes of everything. So the moon is memory. Like, the moon is tied in to memory as well. It's tied into your emotional stability or instability. This is eclipses. The moon's like, yeah, I'm just gonna move here and let me get right in the way. Let me block you guys up. I'm sorry. You guys been talking trash, and the Ra's like, you know, you ever call somebody and they don't want to answer the phone, right? The moon is the one that picks up the phone. When Ra is tired, because this is what it is. The moon's not doing anything that Ra doesn't want it to do, right? That's the power of Ra. The moon is like, yeah, you know, Ra's like, I just don't even want to deal with him right now. And the moon blocks you off from Ra. That's power, man. That's power, that I can block you off from your source of life, right? Just long enough to scare you. Just long enough that you guys miss, like it's like, yeah, you know, it's like they don't miss me, right? It's like they don't even respect my presence as a solar celestial being. And why would anyone not respect me as a solar and celestial being? And the moon's like, you know what? I don't know. You want to find out? It nudges in the way, and now you got an eclipse, right? And now all of a sudden you're scared, and you're counting it. You're counting like, okay, this is the last time this eclipse happened, guys. Okay, so there's probably gonna be another one coming. You're clocking it now. Imagine the first time that happened. Imagine the first time, the first set of humans that were on the planet, and the sun didn't come up. Imagine how scary that moment was when they were like, uh-oh, wait, I didn't know this could happen. I didn't know that it might not come back. Like, Ra always knows, yeah, I'm going to the underworld. I may not make it back. And he tells everyone, I may not make it back, man. Opep's down there, so I'm taking everybody with me, man. I'm taking Set, I'm taking Packhead, I'm taking everybody down. There's going to be a fight in the underworld, man. You know, I want you guys to know I might not make it back. And we're like, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. We're not paying attention. But then the first time we see that he might not, there's something that could simulate him not coming back, we're scared. We build whole religions around that, right? You clock it. They know when the next lunar eclipse is coming. They think. Check your behavior, right? I'm just telling you, like, the moon regulates. The moon lets you know every now and then, yeah, you guys could just not get sunlight. So pay your bill, right? And part of your bill is shutting up and being more respectful to the powers that be, right? But we got a great bevy of deities that associate everything I talked about with the moon. The moon's incredibly powerful. So we're going to get into talking about some representations of moon power, right? So I got, now the first one here, this is one of my favorite deities. I'm not going to lie, man. I just like this dude, man. This is Khnonsu. This is Kemetic belief systems. Obviously, this guy's associated with moon, time, healing, protection, renewal, everything. Now, he is the Kemetic god of the moon. His principal worship center was at Waset, right? Or now we know that that's what they call Thebes. Thebes was Waset. And in Greek modern temple of Luxor, the Greek city of Luxor, this is where he had one of the most powerful divine families, where he formed what is known as the Theban triad, right? It's the Theban triad, which is Amon, who represents hidden, creative, and sovereign power. Mut, who represents divine motherhood, queenship, and protection, along with Khnonsu as their son, the youthful lunar power who travels through the night. So he was the one who represented the moon at that particular time, right? Now, he was not simply the god who controls the moon, he was seen as a living expression of the moon itself. So all the wisdom, so this guy was smart, he had all the wisdom, he was cool, right? Like you were saying, he had a sharp dresser. This is the representation of the moon, right? His name literally constructed would mean like house of, right? Khnonsu. So he is literally, he's literally connected with to travel or to cross. So this is like night travel. This is like dimensional travel. He's all that. He's frequently interpreted as the traveler or he who crosses. This reference is primarily about the moon crossing the night sky, right? Like there's always a celestial presence up there. Ra's gone, the moon's up there. Everything's still moving along as it should. We can feel okay with this, right? So his original origins go all the way back to ancient Kemet, like when it was Kemet, when it was the land of the dark soil. His earliest appearances are in the pyramid text of the old kingdoms. Guy's been around, meaning that in some form, he's been recognized since like the 24th century BCE. Like this is way, way back. The pyramid texts call him the pyramid text, the cannibal him. He appears as a fierce divine agent who helps the deceased king seize the power of the other gods. So this is an old school mythology about it. Now his period of worship goes way back, and I don't think he really gets his props right now, right? He really doesn't. His worship starts about 2400 BCE. He appears in a lot of funerary texts as a very powerful celestial being. He is a divine messenger and destroyer of enemies, right? He ain't no punk, right? His identity as a lunar deity begins to become even more clear during the in the coffin text later. So by the New Kingdom, he has national prominence. He's known all over the place. They know him here. At this time, Waset has risen to be one of Kemet's greatest political powers and religious centers. And this is his house. And he's there with his moms and his pops. So his major surviving temple of Karnak, right, which exists right now. We've seen him talk about Karnak. If you watch those bullshit ass mummy movies, they go to Karnak, right? This is his spot. This is where his place of worship. You go there. There's a whole room dedicated to him, right? And this was the great center. So his temple at Karnak, this was constructed by Ramses III, who ruled from approximately 1186 to 1155 BCE. And it's already known. This is one of the big research centers, one of the shiny examples of ancient culture, right? In the late Ptolemaic period, he still actively worshipped. He's been doing it for a long time. His theology has become increasingly elaborate by this time, and he's now connected with creation. They talk about divine judgment, healing, kingship, and other lunar deities such as Jehuti, because they're like, yeah, Jehuti was everywhere. Jehuti's like, if there's knowledge and wisdom there, I'm there, right? For head, right? Jehuti there at night, right? So he had a very formal temple, and there were other deities in Kemetic belief systems who were also associated with the moon. He wasn't the only one, because obviously, they were more city-states. So there was a lot, right? So when we look at this particular line, though, you would see it's Ammon, it's Mut, Jehuti, Heru, Hathor, and a lot of Theban traditions. Hathor, who's my favorite of all of them, the goddess, right? She's also associated with him as his consort. And even Sobek is said to be as the divine child connected with Sobek and Hathor. So they got some weird stuff, man. They changed the story. Sometimes he's his girlfriend, sometimes his mom, and I know that's a really weird one, right? But you can always see him as he typically has a youthful appearance. This is what you'll know, like on the inscriptions. He'll have the youthful appearance, and he'll have the side lock, like the braid off to the side, twisted. He'll always have that. And the crescent and moon, it's a clear giveaway. The crook and flail, the brought ceremonial necklace where he's gleaming, and sometimes he'll have a divine beard, right? They'll change that, and that's his tradition, right? He's sometimes depicted as a falcon-headed lunar deity as well, and his principal symbols are going to be the crescent moon, a full lunar disc, the falcon, the side lock, the lunar boat or the lunar bark, right? The wasp scepter. Remember, the wasp scepter which is yes, found he has a wasp scepter. The wasp scepter is again associated with Waset, right? And that was a source of major power there as well. So there's a lot going on there. What does Khonsu represent? He's more than just like a moon god. He is the moon. You know, it's a manifestation of the moon. He is the moon in motion. He is the perpetual celestial traveler who crosses the night sky and returning according to the natural order. He is an integral part of this natural cycle. Like, because I'm telling you right now, we're always scared if we look up and we never see the sun. It's going to be terrible. It'll be pretty bad if we look up there and we don't see the moon, right? It's not like it's going to end right now. If we don't see the sun, if the sun ever actually went away, within 8 minutes, life is pretty much over on the planet, right? Like, we get that, right? The moon, if the moon's not there, it's probably going to destabilize like our tides, our internal body. It's a lot that can go along with, what happened to the moon, right? We never want to get there. We never want to be like, what happened to the moon? Now, the moon's phases is all tied to like youth and renewal. Every time, we monitor the moon, like waxing moons and quarter moons and octoroon moons, whatever cycles of the moon, that's all about obviously the aging process, but also the renewing process, right? And the protections at night. So, this moon, because this energy is more about healing and restoration. Like, think about how most people use like the sun of fire. They use it to burn your ass up, right? Hathor, whenever they get it, whenever you get that manifestation of solar power, they all use it to burn your ass up. Like Sekhmet, nobody ever heals you with that stuff, right? But you can't, or the moon is more idealized to be like a healing power. So we see a lot of healing power that comes out of the moon. Although he is still personally like a judge as well. He has many different forms throughout Kemetic history. He'd be known by a lot of different names, but his worship was always very active. People were presented him with like food and drink and incense and clothing offerings, right? There's hymns. There's like ritual recantations. There's all these things like creating his image, lunar and like lunar cycles. There's always like moon worship events. People would make oaths. Royal offerings that like were intended to preserve Ma'at also worked here. So there was a lot. And here's the thing. He's kind of still worshipped today, man. Like, Khnonsu worship is not dead, right? He's one of the few deities, and I'm like, yeah, you actually still getting love right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still actively being worshipped. He doesn't possess like uninterrupted temple institutes, but he is still honored in a lot of practices, including modern Kemetic religion, but even outside of that, in other like African related centers where the belief system spread, he's still honored. In fact, we're still talking about Khnonsu right now, right? Like, I'm spreading veneration of Khnonsu. So is he still alive and popping? Well, according to the two people who are watching in my stream right now, he is. So that's how we have to kind of like look at him. His powers were, like I said, regulating lunar cycles, measuring months, protecting night travelers, what he saw him for, healing illnesses, supporting conception, fertility and growth, renewing youth and life, delivering oracles and divine judgments, punishing enemies of cosmic order, you better not step out of line, determining or measuring the human lifespan, and participating in creation and renewal around the entire cosmos. That's a lot, man. Dude's wearing a lot of hats. And all these hats are all the hats that Ra was like, I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, Ra, he's like, yeah, he's like the hand of the king. Like, yeah, you go. All right, don't talk to me. I don't even want to see it. I don't care, Khnonsu. I don't want to hear about it, right? I'm going off shift, right? You come on shift, and then you're running it until I get back in the morning, all right? And don't mess this up. And Khnonsu handles that business. But Khnonsu isn't the only representation because it gets spicier than that. We get more than that, right? In this one, Mama Quilla, called the Mother Moon, right? Now, this is of Inca tradition. She was written as Mama Quilla, but she's also known as this greater lunar goddess, right? She's a lunar deity. Her name, Mama, means, all right, lady or revered maternal being, and Quilla means both moon and month, right? So this is tied to, obviously, cycles. the moon in its phases, measurement of months, women, and bodily cycles, marriage, and fertility. Also, right? The imperial festival calendar was based a lot on moon cycles, ceremonial scheduling, protection of women. She was associated with silver hair, as well as lunar radiance, eclipses, and cosmic danger, as well as the balance between the solar and the lunar deities, right? So she played a very important role. Now, okay, now culturally, she was all in the areas that the empire that includes the four regions, which is Peru, right? Modern times now, this is Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, Chile, Argentina, and Colombia. And the moon was observed and revered on the Andes long before the rise of even the Inca Empire. So the Inca did not invent the lunar spirituality from nothing. It was incorporated from older traditions into an imperial religious system. So this distinction matters because it's not necessarily just an Inca religion. It was something that was more tied to the people and the land themselves, although the rulership of the people would change. So we're talking about this being at the rise of the Cusco imperial capital. So we're talking like 1438, right? And it rapidly expanded throughout the Andes. And the Spanish invasion coming in 1530s, we knew about, like, that's when it lasted. It ended there. So we can see like 100 years, like nearly a century, where it was worshipped at that level, but probably thousands of years because of the prior people that lived there and their association. So this was the important thing about it. Now, she's part of a divine family, Inti, who governs the sun, daylight, and solar authority. And she's also associated with Manco Capac, the first Inca ruler, descended from her. So she's very well tied into, overall, other aspects among in the Inca culture or their pantheon, I should say. And even after colonization and all that stuff, they still ranked her as one of the highest powers there in terms of level of importance, right? She's known for like the solar disc, royal text, geometric woven patterns. She's seen typically as a noble Andean woman. Silver, she's very tied to silver. Again, this goes into some of the metal representations as well. Her symbols are pretty basic, like the moon, right? The silver lunar disc, silver itself, women's bodily cycles, right? All those things. Lunar eclipses, this is where she was. And she was an important part of the moon and the measurement of time. The Inca central calendar was lunisolar. So months were calculated through lunar cycles, but the annual calendar remained aligned with the solar year and the seasonal changes. That's a pretty advanced calendar there. I actually did not know that. I learned something from myself today, right? Which is amazing. Sharing love is a sincerest form of, or sharing knowledge is a sincerest form of love. So I just showed myself some love. So, we see a lot of power out of this particular character, her association with women. And the big thing that we see, like, Khnonsu obviously was a male representation of the lunar deity, right? I'm more used to seeing, like, the female representation, which doesn't mean anything other than that I've noticed it more on my travels. And she had a major cult, primarily women, like it was primarily a priestess cult, right? So lots of opportunities down there for women. And I think those cycles, because they get to be a little more personal, you know, body cycles and things like that, right? So after the conquest, it really died out. She is honored today. I don't know if she's actively worshipped, but we can still see, I think there are still practitioners, people who still keep that belief system alive. I'm going to wager that she's still actively being worshipped, because I know there's been a lot of of focus from the people from those areas, the pre-colonization people, to keep that practice alive. So I'm going to guess she's still in practice on some level. Now, let's see who we got next. Let's see. Oh, I must put that twice. Okay, well, did what I did. Okay. Oh, this is a good one here, guys. Get another sip here real quick. Okay, another good one. This is Mani, if I'm saying it right. This is one of the Norse. This is an old Germanic deity, right? So forgive me, my Germanic tongue isn't strong, but this is a pre-Christian. I can't even say English words. This is a pre-Christian Scandinavian deity who is known from the Prose Edda and Snorri Sturluson's prose, the Poetic Edda and the Prose Edda, right? So he comes from Old Norse. This is a deep deity, Mani, Mani. And his name in that culture literally means moon. Interestingly enough, this is another male representation of the lunar deity. So this is the second time, I'm used, like I said, I'm used to more female representation, right? But in their cosmology, this is reverse, right? Okay. Mani's divine intelligence to the moon, reversal from Greek mythology. Moon is male, right? Yeah, in this cosmology, the moon is male, the sun is female solely. Okay, so that's different. I actually hadn't seen that. Let's see. And they are siblings. So that's interesting because we've seen the moon and the sun be referenced as siblings as well. But the big change is which gender we're assigning them to. So this shows, it's more gender fluid, right? So get over yourself, guys. It's not a big deal, obviously, right? Even ancient times are saying that. So these are the people that he comes from. So we know about like his family. His sister is the sun. She's daylight. His powers were in guiding the moon. So he's not a manifestation of the moon, but he guides the moon. He's still governing the lunar cycles, the new moon, the waxing moon, the full moon, the waning moon, the return of darkness, and the beginning of the new cycle. So he represents all that, measuring the months and the year. That's his responsibility. He is also a form of celestial illumination. He governs the moon as a principal light of the night sky, a very important role. He's accompanied by two human children, Juki and Bly, I don't know, whatever. But no disrespect. I'm just, it is what it is. But he's shown with two children, and they travel with him. They represent aspects of the moon's progression itself, the youthful side of it. So he keeps those with him. Now he is often showed in continuity is represented by the wolf who is pursuing the moon. In that case, he gets to be, or he's followed by this wolf, so he is hunted. And he's always pursuer. Skull pursues Soul. Hati pursues Manny. So they're both in pursuit. Like, okay, so the name Hati, who is after him, is constantly described by the wolf Hati, and who is called hater or enemy. Like, that's it. So this kind of tells you, like, the cycle here is that he is being hunted, and this wolf is hot on his ass. The hater is after him. Why is he being hunted? Well, it doesn't really give a specific reason per the text, but it could be just cosmic movement, that the chase explains why Mani continues to move across the sky. He cannot stop because the hater is pursuing him, right? That's perhaps why. And in some associations, they associate the eclipse with the moon caught him, right? Like the moon caught him, and then of course he would regenerate, right? So this is predation with nature, right? We see it. It's an inevitability. Now, in Ragnarok, of course, the moon is primed to get taken over by other wolves, like Odin himself gets. So this is kind of a mini Ragnarok, really, that's playing out. Like he's being pursued by the wolf, and occasionally, just so you guys know what can happen, the wolf eats him. Now, he himself is not described as surviving Ragnarok, but clearly in the restoral of it, there's going to be, a new solar deity, a new lunar deity as well. So that's kind of what we get with him. Is he actively worshipped now? Back then, we see some evidence of like some major temple sites were dedicated to him. We see a recognized priesthood, extensive Mani-centered rituals. So we see all. We see a collection of places that were named after him, and sacrifices, show often identified with this particular deity. Is he still worshipped today? I guess on some level, obviously Norse culture really keeps Norse culture alive, right? They're very deep into kind of document it and name the stories, and people within the culture really embrace their culture. So I would think someone in that culture right now is conscious enough to keep this deity in play. Like I would absolutely do that. I don't have any proof of that. I would just say what I know about the culture makes me think that yeah, they probably got this guy on track right now. He's probably gotten some whatever his like worship stuff is. He's probably gotten it already, right? So then we start getting outside of just mythology, and we're like, outside of mythology, who are we talking about? Who represents the sun? So for all my anime heads out there, right? Obviously, Sailor Moon pops right on up, right? Like you see in Sailor Moon. Let me try to bring her over here, right? So, turn my TikTokers can see. Oh wait, I don't want to do that. Hang on. I'm trying to put her on the screen for TikTok, but you know, let's see. Okay, be less me, more her, right? Which I'm sure for some of you weirdos is going to be really, really good. Who wouldn't want to see me? So this is a representation in creator Naoko Takeuchi's right work. This originates out of Japan. This character's first debuted in manga back in 1991. Its anime debut was in 1992, right? So just a year later. Now her primary source is the silver crystal and the Sailor Crystal as well, right? So her power classification, she is purification, she's healing, she's resurrection, protection, transformation, and cosmic restoration. Now, the guy who created this Japanese manga writer, Naoko, an artist who created this character, this was in study with celestial bodies, right? Their interest came in the components of this universe. This comes from a chemist background. So they idealize that planets carry spiritual identities. And that's what they kind of reckon with here. She's kind of a magic-y, kind of transformation girl. They combine all these things. Planetary mythology, romantic fantasy, reincarnation, all these things kind of go into adapting into this one character. So, I mean, this kind of gives this character a lot of depth. As a character, they start off with this ordinary 14-year-old schoolgirl just living in Tokyo, right? Like, of course, right? She's very emotional, playful, like, you know, just kind of an average girl. Then she encounters this talking black cat named Loon. Now, I mean, like, you know, already, you know what I'm saying? Already, right off the bat, like, yeah, okay. If you run into a black cat and you start talking to it, whatever happens after that, man, you chose everything, right? So she apparently has this latent power. Luna gives her this magical broke that allows her to transform into Sailor Moon. And with that, you know, she believes her mission now becomes to defeat all supernatural enemies, protect innocent people. I love that. Locate the other Sailor Guardians and find the mysterious Moon Princess. This is what her role is. Now, she's also the reincarnation of Princess Serenity. Like Usagi is the reincarnation of Princess Serenity, and the story gets pretty complex. They get pretty deep into the characters. They have some real nice associations as far as like using silver and kind of keeping the story really tied to a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of like purification mythologies that go back. Like we see it kind of reflected in their culture. Now, her power is, you know, like I said, she's purification. She can, you know, cure the possessed, wash away corruption, cure brainwash, drain, transform into monsters, separate people from the true beings. She can do all these things. In healing, she can injure bodies, stolen life energy, corrupted hearts, damaged memories, right? That's all power. Planetary environments. So she has the ability to restore life, all through these crystals that she has here. So this is where this character is. Like, it seems like cosmic awareness is right where this character sits. Spiritual energy, this is her homeland here. All these things, again, that kind of represent the lunar powers, right, that we've been showing in all these different deities. She is the embodiment. Again, like I said, this is like the sacred feminine energy. I'm typically used to saying associated with the moon. I don't want to be all sexist or misogynistic, but, you know, again, I'm just kind of used to that. And she possesses this kind of serenity about her. So another good representation, like in, you know, in modern times. The next one is Princess Yu, and like another one. This comes from Avatar. This is the Avatar, so not quite an anime, but like an animated kind of character here. Let me show you guys here what I'm talking about, right? And this character here is from the North Water Tribe. This character was introduced in 2005, and in the story, The Siege of the North Part 2. And she's a lunar influence. She's a spiritual rebirth. She's water bending empowerment. So I guess that's that moon connection to the water, tidal balance, as well as cosmic restoration. She was created, this is that Nickelodeon series. And, this is like a tribal princess. So we see like all the avatar powers that are associated with the moon grants her ultimate water bending powers. And they give her a long story. Like, there's actually a really good backstory along with this character. I'm not really going to get into it, but just establishing that this character actually does exist and kind of how they go about making that same connection with the moon. So we kind of see those powers repeatedly in that ideology of the feminine moon presence. And then this character here, man, it's another one I really like here. And this is Moon Maiden. This is actually a DC Comics character. This character's been out for a little while. Like, I think initially the first track for her is like 2000, the Century Wars. So this was and then the Justice League. I think she's in the Justice League storyline as well. So, this is a couple of DC guys, and she represents it. Like, to herself is the daughter of an astronaut, and in this story, he's part of the crew that goes to the moon. When exploring the moon, he discovers this ancient, hidden structure on the moon, and the structure became known as the Lunar Via. He found this infant girl lying in this cradle, right? So he brings her home. So this is kind of the backstory. She now grows up on Earth, but she's already got this powerful connection to the moon. That's an important thing about her. She becomes part of the Justice League as Moon Maiden, as an early member of the Justice League, like in this new kind of one of the multi-resets they did. And her powers are a little different than the others. She has lunar gravitational manipulation. So she can amplify the moon's gravity on people on Earth. That's a real power right there. That allows her to make things lighter, rise into the air, move to a chosen point. So it gives her levitation and flight and so forth. She can influence tides, right? That's a very important. So coastal tides, ocean currents, flooding. She can induce lunar madness, right? She can surround another person with lunar madness and disturb their mental and emotional state. That's a very, like, what you get out of this is disorientation, altered perception, right? Flashbacks, the shit you don't want to see, hallucination type experiences. She has a lot of that. She has some influence, thank you so much. She has some influence even over your memory, right? Like in your memory. So this is deliberately part of her story. So she becomes like a principal enemy of the Centurion, right? An immortal warrior. So she offers a lot, man. Like another character that really, really hits on all the applications of the moon. I think this character, it kind of takes more of I don't know, I guess I would say like she seems more like a physicist thought of this story, right? Like her power set, less mythology than like Sailor Moon. She's more mass, gravity, orbital relationships, ocean tides, planetary stresses, things like that. That's far more where she is, but still cold-blooded like costume, man. I'm definitely feeling this character, and I think she still works in the mythology. Like they mix in the madness, the sleep disturbances, the dreams, alter behavior, menstrual cycles, all that stuff is still work. Like imagine you're fighting against somebody and she makes your menstrual cycle start right then and there. That can mess you up in the middle of a fight, man. I'm just saying, if she has that kind of ability to bring your you don't even have to, you can just be messing with people, man. Man, you just follow Wonder Woman around, and every time you saw her, you're just like, bam, start your period, right? That's the kind of juice that she has. Why she would use it that way, I don't know, but I probably would. Like, if I didn't like you, I'd be like, yeah, your period's on. Yeah, your period's on again. Like, you'll bleed to death if you keep messing with me, right? So I gave you guys a good bevy of, lunar powers, right? Moon powers. Gave you a good overview. You can check that out right up at the top, right? I broke down some really good gods for you, going all the way back to my man Khnonsu, taking you all the way through various like fictional characters to land on this DC character. As I'm learning more and getting more legit about my DC comic book knowledge. So it's that time again, 12:30, man. That's right about time I like to get a little something to eat. So I'm going to dip, get something to eat, and you know what, guys? I don't have work for another week, so I'm probably going to come back on live today. I don't know what. Maybe make some suggestions, leave in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm going to let the food make the decision for you. And that's not necessarily a bad idea either. I don't know if you guys want sandwich.